cracking and rocking and rolling.
Cool.
Awesome. Everyone, big welcome. Again, we're on guest presenter month, and as you can see in the top left-hand side for those watching the recording, big welcome to Ange and Tash. I have a very special friend of mine, and what are we, 6-7 years now? I've known Jordan for.
Yeah.
Very, very privileged to have Jordan on the call today. Jordan has, as I sort of mentioned in the chat thread, she's done everything, just about everything there is to do in the industry. She's been a PT. She's been a studio owner. She's run a great team of staff. Pretty much ran the biggest fitness studio in your local town, which was huge. Became an educator, a course provider. What else have I got here? Mentor, and now she's developed her own program, Movement and Mindset, which she's very, very excited about launching. And for those of you that obviously missed the precursor, 15 years of PT and health and fitness industry experience into one program, and obviously that being that taking 12 months. So Jord, big welcome to you and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's start from the very beginning. We've got Ange, Tash, Dylan here now. Guys, I've enlightened Jord as to how the PLC system works, and obviously the beauty of the presenters that we've had so far this month, and with Jord today, again, they've got vast industry experience. They have a great understanding of where you guys are at as to the struggles that you've been through, because you know what, between Jord, myself and Clinton and Jace that we had on last week, guys, we've been there and done that. So we get how you're feeling. What the one thing that we want to share is we've been there, but we've also worked through it. And that's something that we're going to hear from Jord today. So Jord, let's go right back to the very beginning. Let's hear a little bit about the Jordan Schouten story and how you got started and what made you become a PT.
Oh my goodness, the story. Okay, well, at school I was always into like athletics, soccer, lots of sport, and I used to coach when I was at school. So I actually started doing coaching when I was in grade 10. I used to coach the primary school kids. And so from there I knew that I just loved it and I just wanted to keep doing it. So I moved into, I was in Toowoomba, and it's called Willow's Health and Lifestyle, I think it is now. It's a huge place in Toowoomba. So for those who don't know back, and it's getting bigger, but I was there in the beginning days, like when it was like the most rundown shell of a place, but they were the best days, like, let's be honest. Anyway, I had to do my Cert 3 and 4 over 2 years. So the first year was a traineeship where I got paid $8 an hour. And it took me a whole 12 months to do my Cert 3 and then another whole 12 months to do my Cert 4, working the whole time. So back in those days, there was no like quick courses for that. It was a traineeship and like a mini apprenticeship, so to speak. From there, I went up to the Sunshine Coast for a little bit, and then decided to go back home to Moree, that's when I launched my personal training studio. And I had that for about 4 years, I'm going to say. I can't remember now. And during that time, I also got my degree in exercise and sports science. Look, I learned so much through that experience of having a studio, like the good and the bad. I learned everything. Then from there, I just felt like I wanted more. Like, it was great, don't get me wrong, but I just wanted a bit more experience. So that's when I moved back up to Brisbane. And from there, I really went into the strength and conditioning, worked with lots of elite athletes, which was really good, and also got more into the teaching side. So I became, I done a lot of teaching of Cert 3, 4, and fitness diplomas as well. From there, I've got my master's in strength and conditioning. And like I said, continued on the road of the elite athletes. And now I'm very, very lucky to work with the top 40 women in NRL, so Women's Rugby League. That's launched this year, and I've been so privileged to be a part of all that. I currently am now down in Canberra, and I am today's the first day I've got like a t-shirt and shorts on. I've got a few goosebumps, but I'm so excited. So at the moment, like I said, I've been working down here, and all this year I've been working as well, but been launching my online program. And that kind of started mostly because being down here, I didn't really know anyone. I was sort of just establishing myself, but I was still connected with so many other people that I've known through my time of training that still wanted training off me and still wanted programs, et cetera, et cetera. So that sort of really pushed me into more of the online stuff. So even though I'm in a new city, I can still connect with so many other people. So that's a really short recap of a timeline.
Told you she'd done everything. Well and truly. Excuse me. Let's go back to, and I know you're still PTing to an extent now, but
Yes.
Let's go back to when you first started.
Mm-hmm.
How tough
Yes.
was it? What was the industry like? And what were some of the problems or challenges that you had to overcome?
Can't remember that far back. No, I'm joking. Look, it was scary as hell. I remember being so scared that I was like, I had this person in my, in my control that would do everything I'd say. Like I'd say something and they would do it. And I was like, wow, like I was 17, 18 at the time, super, super young. And I guess that I was new and I was very inexperienced, and I think that that did come through a lot. I think people knew that, but it was something that I think if you're aware of, you can then work through. So even though sometimes and I remember there was sometimes of feeling so overwhelmed, I didn't understand, people would come to me with problems and I had no idea how to fix it. I look back now and you look at those programs you wrote back then, you're like, oh my goodness, how did I not hurt somebody? But, it's all learning and it's all a process. And I think that's what you've got to think is long term. You can't, if you're new to this industry and you're new to training people, you've just got to, roll with it, just roll with it and roll with your insecurities. And I think it's more being aware of them rather than trying to push them down and thinking, am I good enough? Should I be here? Can I really train this person? Understand this is where you are. This is a new thing. You're going to continue to learn and you're going to push through. So you just need to persevere and be honest and kind to yourself. Yeah.
George, do you think that's the biggest thing that you learnt in the early doors, is that just to roll with things and to think on your feet and obviously, as you've said, to roll with the punches, so to speak?
Yeah, I think as you get older, you get a lot more self-awareness. And I think now, I feel like it's okay to not know everything. Back then, I thought I had to know everything. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say is I got so overwhelmed because I was like, I need to know all this. I need to. The biggest thing that I was always told, and look, I had a fantastic coach and mentor when I first started out. I'm so lucky with how I started in this industry. And he always, the number one thing was every time you give someone a program or an exercise, know exactly why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. Now I do. Now I know the ins and outs of every single thing. And that is always something that I put forward to people as well. But back then I was like, I had no idea. And I used to let that get to me a lot when really I should have just been understanding that I'm new to this. I need to work through it and continue to learn. Yeah. And just sort of be a lot more kind to yourself when you're starting out, if starting out is something new for you. Yeah. Cool.
All right, let's hit fast forward a little bit and go to your time as a studio editor. I know some of the guys on the call will either have their own studios, which I know a few of the guys in Adelaide do, or have aspirations to have their own studio. What was being a studio owner like? And I'm going to skip through this bit a little bit. What's the biggest thing that you learned in having your own studio? Where were we? Maureen.
Okay, what was it like? The biggest roller coaster I've ever been on in my life.
I agree with that.
What it was like. No. Okay, the biggest thing that I've learned is don't listen to anyone else that's outside of business. Yes, listen to us, listen to Bo, but don't listen to people that have no freaking idea what they're doing, and don't let people talk you into things just because it's better for them. I got rolled into so many bad decisions and bad deals based on what they wanted, not what I wanted or what was good for the business. And that came back to me being a bit young, naive, and a people pleaser. So I think, look, it definitely toughened me up a hell of a lot. And I'm even talking people like my parents and my partner. Like, they talked me into so much stuff that was not viable for me and my business at that time. And I knew deep down, but I just continued to, please them, please my employees, please the people that were working for me, which ran me into quite a lot of debt, to be honest, because I was I wasn't listening to myself, and it wasn't good for my business at the time. But these people who have never owned a business and not interested in fitness at all were pressuring me and giving me, advice. They've only done it because they love me, but it was the wrong thing for me. I knew that at the time, but I was too much of a people pleaser to really stand up for myself.
Yeah.
And I look back now at the mistakes I made, and, I had to go through those mistakes. I had to make those mistakes to now see that, and to now see that moving forward, that it's, when I'm running my business, it's about me. And the business side of it, I'm not talking about training and clients, talking about the actual business side. It's about you and what's good for you and your business. Because guess what? It's your neck that's on the line. And I did run into quite a bit of trouble because I was getting this advice off people that had no idea about business. So that was a huge learning thing for me.
Awesome. Love it. I think Jay said something really similar last week. So it's nice to have that consistency of our message coming through. Yeah. And look, I mean, you guys do at PLC. You get great support from Scotty and the corporate team, and obviously what we do week to week here. George, let's fast forward to your time as an educator and teacher. Obviously, delivering a curriculum to trainers, Cert 3 and 4, and maybe a little bit of diploma, I think. What's the biggest? I guess what's the biggest thing you took out of that? What's probably the biggest lesson you learned as a teacher, and something that obviously you look to instill into the young trainers that you were teaching?
Just, Brittany, who's on here all the time, who's PLC.
Where there's a few Brittany's. Brittany Nash.
Oh, yeah. So she was in our classes at Sage there. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Look, with the teaching and that, as a teacher, from day one who's in it for the long term and who's not. Like, it comes across, it's so obvious. And if this is something that you really want to do, you've got to embrace everything about it. Like, you aren't a PT during the day and a party person at night, or you aren't like somebody else on the weekends. When this becomes your identity, health and fitness is now who you are. And people are going to ask you like questions every single hour of the day. And the ones who embrace it as a complete lifestyle and really owns it as who they are, they're the successful people. Because you can see the ones that they come in, they do their course, but they're living this other lifestyle that doesn't match up with, what they're trying to achieve. So, a big message I tried to put across to my students was like, if this is what you want to do, you're serious about this career, you've got to become this person. This isn't just an education. This is a lifestyle choice. And only the successful, like, to be successful, you have to embrace everything about it. You can't just pick and choose, what day of the week you're deciding to be fit and healthy and what day you're not. Like, we can't, for example, we're not, I'm going to pick a career here, like an accountant. Okay, if you see you're an accountant that's going out on the weekends, you don't really worry too much because they've probably got the money to do that anyway. But, if you're somebody who's a PT and you're living this lifestyle that isn't, matching your career, then people are going to notice that quite a lot. And I'm talking about things like social media, Facebook. Is everything you're saying matching who you want to become? Because, as being when you do training, you're dealing with a lot of younger people, like that 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and you see what they're putting on social media, and you're thinking, okay, if this is something you really want to do in the future, if this is something you want as a career, like, this isn't working. Like, this isn't, what's a word, like, contributing to that. So, yeah, sorry.
No, spot on. Absolutely spot on. I think that's and I think with the way that social media is changing now and the way that obviously the algorithms change and things are moving the way they are, the use of your profile is now really important. Obviously what goes on your profile is incredibly important because that's what people are going to see more of than anything that's on your page. So that adding value and the quality, and I think, and George makes a really good point, guys, it's really about understanding the position that you wish to hold within the industry. Now, that's something that you're wanting to hold 24/7, not just when it suits you. It's something that, again, we're looking to build careers here. It's not necessarily flying in and then scoot off and I don't feel like it today. It really is a matter of having that mindset of not necessarily having a job, but building a career. It's obviously something George's done extensively through her time at Sage and teaching young trainers. Now, George, you're back in the field now, which is good fun. Obviously, you've sort of highlighted a little bit of your strength and conditioning work with the best of the best within the NRL. They call it NRLW, don't they, instead of WNRL?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all right. That's okay. But you're working with high-performance athletes, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Let's talk about what you're now – obviously, you're back in the field. Let's talk about what you're now doing online. I know some of the guys on the call and some of the guys watching the recording have aspirations to move online. Yeah, by all means, share and fill us in a little bit with what you're doing now.
Okay, well, I'll take a little bit of a step back. So – and how I sort of got to this point. Sorry. I am doing a little bit of training. I've just had a heap of nuts because I've literally come home and I'm just haven't had anything to eat yet because I'm doing my intermittent fasting, which I was supposed to eat at 12 and it's now 2:30 for me. So anyway. Yeah. So I am actually, two things I just want to say quickly. So I did write this down and this happened last night and I thought this is a perfect example of what I want to talk about, especially with you guys that are just starting. So I am still doing a little bit of just private PT, just cash work. Anyway, I'm starting a new group of ladies this week. Well, I was supposed to be starting a new group of ladies this week, and there's supposed to be about 4 of them or something. And they said, how much? And I said 120 for the hour, 2 times a week. And they came back to me and they said, oh, look, that's a bit expensive. We don't pay any more than $20 a week. Well, based on other trainers, we haven't paid any more than $20, per session. And I said, look, that's absolutely fine. If you want to do that, that's, but this is my rate. And it took me a long time to actually get the confidence to say, if you can't pay, then that's fine. I know my worth now, but back when I first started, I would take anything that came at me. I'd be like, yeah, no, look, you pay me $10. I don't care. Just pay me something. And it took me a long time to get to be able to say, look, if that's what you want to do, if you want to pay, $20 to a trainer, then that's absolutely fine. I know my worth, which then brought me to the online stuff because people were constantly asking me, Jordan, can you write me a program? Jordan, can you write me a program? And I was just like, yeah, I'll write your program. And I was like, why am I spending all this time of my time, all these years of my training and education, writing programs up for people? And I was just being nice. And then I thought, why won't anyone pay what I'm asking for? And then I realized I was doing it to myself. I wasn't the one setting the standard. I was setting such a low standard for myself of offering so much free stuff and free advice. Now, don't get me wrong, you need to add value to people and add quality. However, don't be cheap. And I was doing both. I was adding as much value and quality as I could, and I was being cheap. And then people say, oh, Jordan, I'll write your program. I was like, no, it's fine. I write programs all the time. And then I was like, what am I doing? Which then led me to the online thing where now I have full confidence that I've spent so much time and energy and effort building this platform that when somebody comes to me and says, Jordan, can you write me a program? I say, absolutely. Here's my program. Here's my online platform. If you go and sign up to that, you are going to get unlimited support with programs and videos and education on there. 2 things. I'm getting, what I'm worth as a trainer. And not only that, they're getting more value and quality as well. So even though I'm not just handing them off a 4-week, 8-week program, I'm giving them so much more value in education that they're going to get so much more out of that program than just paying me or not even paying me, because I was setting that standard of like just, nothing really. I was like, no, it's fine. So for me, it was really upping my standard and then really taking more value to myself as a trainer. So, and it works both ways. You have to understand that, if they, and two things, when people pay, they pay attention. So if they're paying for that course, then they're going to get so much more out of it rather than just me handing them a free course, because how many people were really doing the program? Probably not very many. So that was a huge thing for me, and the reason I started the online platform as well is to give people more value through their training, but also me, I need to put food on the table as well.
Yes.
They're not just going to pay me through donations.
It's true.
So, yeah, it's all about knowing your worth, and that's, yeah.
And look, guys, that's obviously something that as you're starting out, it is a challenge. It is a battle for you, and as George sort of said, some of you will struggle. Even George, as you've said, $10, $10, yep, cool, I'll great, yep. It comes over time. It is a confidence thing. It's a self-belief thing as well, that you guys know that you are great at what you do, and that what you do gets great results. And you know what? That's very valuable. So, George, let's look at the big picture now as we sort of move to the industry as a whole. And again, with your extensive experience that you've had, what's the biggest change you've sort of noted or noticed in the industry over that time?
Yeah, so I feel like I've been through all the cycles. Like when I first started, it was like just exercise was a huge thing. Like just getting in training, like boot camps were massive. And then we sort of moved into the nutritional phase where we were obsessed with superfoods, and we were obsessed with acai bowls and all that good. Yep. Well, they're not. They're just not a bowl of ice cream, but we got obsessed with all this other stuff. Natural sugar. And now, sorry. Actually, can I just quickly tell you, sorry, this is a really quick thing on the acai bowls, just to prove how bad they were. So my partner was a jockey and his brother's a jockey. So, they're small people. They're not big guys. Anyway, after track work. Sorry?
Rob's been walking around in the background with his shirt off. I'm just saying they're not as big as you, mate.
No. So this is really quick off topic. Anyway, he was, after track work every morning, he was going and eating an acai bowl. Anyway, he was going to his dietitian, and all of a sudden she's like, your blood sugars are through the roof. And she's like, you're literally on your way to like pre-diabetes, your blood sugars are that high. And he's like, I eat really healthy. And she's like, write down what you eat every day. And he wrote down for like 3 days what he ate. And she's like, are you having one of these every day? He was like, yeah, man, they're awesome. These big acai bowls. Yeah. His blood sugars were so high, he was like really on his way to pre-diabetes. That's how bad they are for you. Anyway.
Wow.
And I thought that was hilarious.
That is.
So where we are now, and I think people are becoming a lot more informed and educated. So when I first started, and I said I wanted to be a PT, there was no such job as a PT. Like personal trainers didn't actually exist when I first started, and my mum told me to go get a real job. Now we're a lot more, I believe the public is becoming a lot more informed. I think we've had our big influx of people wanting to be PTs, and maybe we're still there. Maybe it's because I've moved out of the industry a little bit. But I think people are starting to get a lot more aware of, I'm going to say good personal trainers and bad personal trainers. The ones that are, this is my career, this is my lifestyle, this is who I am, to the ones that just come and go. And I think people are becoming, they're taking us a lot more seriously. So I think there's a lot more room for us to move in this space. And then, as frustrating as it is when we see people that, aren't conforming to our industry and that are just here for the quick buck, they're going to die out really quickly. And if you're serious, I think because we've been around for a little while now, people understand how important it is. Exercise is going to prevent so many chronic diseases. We are really important people in the world. People are moving away from their doctors. GPs don't know everything. You know what? GPs never done exercise and sports science at uni. They never done nutrition at uni. Doctors can prescribe you with medications, and that's about it. So I think that message is starting to get across a little bit more, that we are professionals in our industry. We know what we're doing, and it's an important part. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just the circles I'm surrounding by. We're moving past the crash dieting. We're moving past the quick blitz, lose 50 kilos in a week. And we're moving towards, you know, we can help you with long-term health, longevity, happiness, and becoming more of a, you know, you go see the dentist, the doctor, the GP, and you've got an exercise, like I'm gonna say exercise physiologist, but a trainer as well. Yeah. And I really think that, you know, the ones that, like I said, that aren't really in it, they're starting to drop off, or they can't catch up to the ones that take this seriously and as a full profession. And yeah, that's my long answer.
No, I love it. Good answer. Really good answer. And look, I think we'll segue and keep moving on that point. And let's see if we get another nugget of gold from George, because there's been a heck of a lot today. And again, you've been and still are a PT. You've coached PTs, mentored PTs, educated PTs. What's the most important attribute a PT can possess in order to become successful? What do you believe? And look, we've asked everyone this question. The second last question, by the way. What's the most important attribute that you believe is necessary for PTs to be successful in the industry now?
Compassion and presence. You really need to be compassionate towards your client. You have no idea what they're actually going through. And you need to be, we're more than just PTs, and you know that, we know that. You know, we are psychologists. We help them with nutrition. We help them with like relationship problems. We often spend more time with them than they spend with their spouses. So you need to have so much compassion towards each individual client. And not only on that compassion, you need to have presence. So when you're with a client, when you're with somebody, you can't be thinking about a million other things. You need to be there in the room with that person. And this isn't just about, you can apply this to all aspects of your life, and I can guarantee the quality of your life is going to drastically increase. Because if you, like the world as it is, we've got social media, we've got phones dinging, like our attention span is so goddamn short that, we can't focus on like too many things at once. So if you can really pay that person attention, and also think about how many times, this is going to help you in your relationship as well. Like how many times, what do you think people are coming home to and their partners are on the phone and they're having a quick chat, they're not having a deep and meaningful chat. If they're not getting that connection with anybody else in their life, like real connection, but they're getting that with you, like they're going to keep you. That's going to be an ongoing, because you make them feel good, you make them feel noticed and heard. And that's really what it's about. It's about that connection and that client relationship that you have with somebody. Because look, we've all seen the person who's like, yeah, do this exercise, yeah, do that exercise. And I go to a gym now, one of the commercial gyms. Honestly, I just stand there and watch them, because I'm like, are you for real? Like they're just off with the fairies. They're like talking to everyone else. And it's funny, I've never really worked in much of a commercial gym, so I've always heard about all these until I've like started attending, and I can see it with my own eyes. And I'm like, what are you doing? The person over there's got a barbell on their back, and they shouldn't be. And they're paying absolutely no attention to that client. And if they were compassionate towards that client, they could see that they weren't ready for that. Yes.
They'd actually pick up a new client doing that, wouldn't they?
Oh, 100%.
All right, mate. Dylan and the crew in SA have got to go. See you guys. Yeah. Last question, George. Next big thing in the industry, what's it going to be?
Oh, that's a big one.
Looking through a crystal ball, what's the next big thing?
I'm going to be on the cover of Women's Health. No, I'm joking.
I believe
that's the next big thing. That's a long-term goal of mine.
No, you'll be there.
I think it's the education. We're past the crash dieting. We're past the quick shreds and everything. And I think people are more aware now and that this is a long-term thing. This is going to improve all aspects of their life. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to move away from traditional medicine a lot more and use more natural therapies. Why do we even have to say natural therapies? It's what we do every single day. We eat and we exercise, and it's understanding that is now more part of what culture is going to be, rather than, going to your GP because you have a sore back. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to go, you don't go to your GP. Your GP's got no idea about exercise. Hell, you look at half the GPs and they're unhealthy and overweight themselves. And I think people are going to start, hopefully, taking this a bit more seriously as a profession. They're going to come to us with more, for more problems, which means that we as a industry needs to upskill constantly, because we need to keep on top of this as well. So we need to up our game as far as this all goes, but also the population being more informed. Now, I think, the information that's been put out in the last 20, 30 years has been so misleaded and misguided, and it was never put out by fitness or health professionals, because let's be honest, there wasn't any fitness professionals. So when they put out the food pyramid, we all know is a load of crap. You shouldn't be getting up eating a whole thing of carbs first thing in the morning. It's just created so many health problems. The whole fat makes us fat. That never originated from anything. They've done 2 studies. So they done a study to see if sugar or fat was making us fat. They actually couldn't come to a conclusion. So they said, well, that sounds right. Fat makes us fat. And that's how we got the low-fat industry. That literally, there's no science behind it. I think now that's all starting to come out. And we're starting to become more educated and more informed. And then the more fitness professionals that we have banding together and sort of, educating people, I think the healthier and more informed people are going to be. And therefore, they're going to be able to identify what's wrong and what's right. They identify the quick crash courses or the quick, the crash dieting, as opposed to this is going to improve my overall health. So cool.
Love it. No, love it.
Cool.
It's been a pleasure. And guys,
thank you so much.
Very, very, very passionate about what she does. And look, gives her time very freely as well. So obviously for those of you on today or watching the recording, by all means, touch base, say hi.
Add me on Facebook.
If you'd like to learn more about movement and mindset, of course, go for it. And even how George put that together, I'm sure she'll be able to give you some quick tips and hints as how she did it. So
absolutely.
It's been a pleasure, superstar. Thanks so much again.
Thank you.
We'll catch up soon. And guys, hope you enjoyed the recording. Enjoy your week. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.